Respectfully. Hey, Booze! Hey! Happy Feminine Fridays, you guys! So, as you know, I'm so excited to bring you guys this topic! So, when I prayed and I asked God what He wanted me to talk to His women about tonight, He's going to have me get a little bit personal tonight, if you will. I'm always pretty personal, but I want to talk to you guys about something that I realize has been a major part of my journey. And I want to talk to you guys about the power of transparency. Okay. So, first and foremost, transparency within is where you have to start, right? And what that looks like is being very open and honest about how it is that you're feeling, right? Because in this society, we are programmed to stuff our feelings down, not be honest with our feelings. And then not only that, our brain has a way of only wanting to feel like good things, right? So oftentimes whenever we experience an emotion that may not be a positive emotion, normally people don't have a problem with exhibiting when they're happy, and people don't have a problem exhibiting when they're angry, right? But it's those times that you are feeling sad or disappointed or lonely or rejected or any of those things. Like those feelings we don't necessarily want to feel, or even feelings of grief. We don't want to feel those feelings because those feelings, they just feel bigger, right? They feel bigger than, say, anger, or they feel bigger than, say, happiness, right? Oftentimes, I believe personally that people feel as if they tap into certain emotions that they're just going to be way too much for them, way too heavy for them, and we tend to stay away from them and we kind of stuff them down, right? So, transparency starts within yourself first, right? And what that looks like is when you're feeling a certain kind of way, whenever you're feeling heavy, whenever you're feeling weighed down, or whenever you're feeling just not quite yourself, you have to have the ability to go within and just really, like I say, like follow your feelings, right? You have to have the ability to really go in and label what it is that you are feeling at the time, right? And that is how you start off with being transparent with yourself. So you have to be able to say, you know what? Everything is going really good for me right now, and yet I still feel this heaviness. Like, what is this heaviness, right? Or you can feel like, oh my God, I feel like nothing is going my way. It ain't going my way, right? And you have to be able to label why it is that you are feeling the way that you feel, right? And being able to really explore and go deep within yourself first and foremost is very, very important. Hold on, wait a minute. I ain't even do my intro. So, hey, you guys, welcome to Feminine Fridays. I am Regal Essence. I am QueenTV. I'm QueenTV After Dark. I'm Life is a Love Goddess. I'm Life is a Laidback Mom. I'm your ray of sunshine in the afternoon time. I'm your crystal healer and dealer. And I'm your past life princess. So, hey, booze, hey. I just jumped right in. I told you I was excited or whatever. So, yeah. So, we have to, as a people and as divine feminines, we have to have the ability to really go within, not be afraid of our feelings, and feel exactly what it is that is going on, and be able to label that feeling, label that emotion. That's very, very, very important, right? And that is something, I'm not saying it's something that I didn't know prior, but I can definitely say that since my spiritual awakening, I have become very good with being able to label my feelings, right? And my spiritual awakening started happening, and we go through multiple spiritual awakenings, but my biggest spiritual, most life-changing spiritual awakening occurred whenever we were in quarantine, right? So, during that time, I had a lot of things that were going on, a lot of feelings that I needed to process, a lot of self-actualization that I was doing, and a big part of that is being able to label your feelings, right? So we cannot be afraid of what it is that we are feeling. We cannot be afraid of labeling our feelings, right? And once we label those feelings, we can actually kind of like feel our way through, right? So say the emotion is disappointment or sadness of some sort, right? Or maybe even loneliness. I think a lot of people struggle with feeling lonely or feeling alone, right? So you have to be able to explore those feelings. Like, you know what? I'm really feeling disappointed right now about X, Y, and Z. And with the feeling of disappointment, there is like a underlying feeling or emotion of loss, right? So disappointment can be a huge emotion, right? And I think a lot of times whenever we go throughout life, we feel things and we're not able to label those things. And one big thing that I feel that a lot of us have experienced is the emotion of feeling disappointed, right? Disappointment occurs whenever you expected something to be a certain way or go a certain way, or you expected a person to be a certain type of person, or just a certain situation to work out in one way or another, and you find that it didn't work out that way, right? And that causes a disappointment, right? And with that disappointment comes a feeling of loss, or a feeling of maybe I lost out on something, right? So that's a very big emotion to explore. But once you are able to label that emotion, it really sets you free. Transparency gives you a level of freedom that nothing else can, right? But the transparency starts within yourself first. Now, me as a content creator, I am very transparent. I am a writer. I create content. So I live a very transparent life, right? But it starts within, because if you're just transparent to the world, a lot of times, one thing that I learned that's very, very important that I want to teach you guys is that whenever you are going through something, I was listening to a preacher by the name of, it escapes me right now. However, one thing that he said that I thought was very, very profound is he was talking about having a broken heart. And this was somebody that I used to listen to during quarantine as well. And he talked about having a broken heart and how we should allow ourselves that time to deal with whatever it is that we are dealing with before we put that information out on social media. And a lot of times we share our feelings, we just bleed all over social media. And in reality, what it does, if we haven't already solidified those feelings, those emotions, and settled things within ourselves first, a lot of times it will leave us feeling even more vulnerable, right? So you want to make sure that you are processing your emotions personally before you just start to blurt them out on social media, or just to people in general, anyone outside of you, because if they're not in the position to be able to care for you or cater to you the way you may need, you may actually end up feeling worse, right? So I just really want to encourage you guys to be transparent with yourself first. Label your feelings, label your emotions, get to the root of why it is that you are feeling the way that you are feeling, right? That is going to allow you to process everything. And don't be afraid to process your feelings, right? Like, don't be afraid to be able to label them and say, I feel this is such a way, and this is the reason why I feel this way, because really, honestly, and truly, I wanted this to happen, or I wanted to see this, or I wanted them to be like this, right? And oftentimes we don't do that. We just stuff it and we just keep on going. We stuff it and we use other outside, external things outside of us to make us feel better before we take the time to really truly understand what is going on within ourselves, right? Once you realize what's going on within yourself, you are then in the position to figure out, number one, what I can do for me, to make myself feel better in this situation, right? And then two, if need be, you can also be able to articulate to those outside of you what it is that you need in order to be in a better space, in order to feel better, right? But first and foremost, I want us to really work on being able to find that satisfaction, figure out what it is that you can do to make yourself feel better before we start to put our stuff on outside sources, right? Because like I said, oftentimes if you put that on somebody else or something else or into something else before you have actually processed it within yourself, you're actually going to not feel better. You may feel better in the moment, right? But it's better to get to the root cause of what is going on, right? So then once you realize, like, you know what? Okay, now I know what this heavy feeling is. Like, I'm not just drinking because I feel off, or I'm not just sleeping all day because I can't, because I don't feel good. But in reality, I know exactly why I feel the way that I feel. And then now I can put myself in the position to then determine, okay, what do I need to do in order for me to be able to feel better, right? And even if I'm not 100% better, I'm still a little bit better than where I was whenever I was still just like stuffing and trying to figure out, what was going on, or trying to ignore what it is that was going on, right? So then once you guys have established the ability to be transparent with yourself, you then can be transparent to the world. You then can be transparent with everyone you come in contact with, everyone that you are having a conversation with. You then can be more transparent with social outlets or some other type of outlet to help you process your emotion, right? Everybody is not going to process their emotions the same way, right? Transparency, like said, doesn't mean that, I just expose myself to the world all willy-nilly. No, it means, first of all, I start within myself and I'm honest with myself about how it is that I'm feeling. And then at that point, I can be honest with the world, right? And being honest, true, authentic, and transparent is very, very empowering, right? Being able to understand those emotions, process those emotions, and then release them into an outlet authentically is extremely freeing. It's extremely empowering, right? So that is what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. This video is very, very short, but I gave you guys a lot of things to think about. That is the power of transparency. Being honest with yourself first, freeing yourself from and then another thing that makes transparency so powerful is that when you show up as your authentic, transparent self, you're basically allowing people to know that, like, you're allowing yourself, you're releasing yourself from the concern with how it is that other people view you, right? Because you understand that the way that I view myself is the most important thing of all, right? And if I can be sure and true and stand 10 toes down about my own emotions, if I can accept how it is that I feel about a situation, a person, a place, a thing, I can then be that authentic and real and raw to the world. And I'm telling you guys, it is an amazing, powerful, empowering experience. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with you guys today, the power of transparency. All right, so this is what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to drop me a comment, okay? I want you to drop me a comment, and I want you to tell me about a time whenever you have been completely honest, authentic, and transparent, and how exactly it made you feel. Hopefully you did it from a healed space. Hopefully you did it from a space of having already processed your emotions, so being transparent, authentic, real, and raw didn't actually make you feel worse, but in reality it made you feel so much better. And when we are real and authentic, when we show up as our real and authentic self, we give people permission to do the same. So that's all I got for you guys today. Make sure you hit the bell button so you know every time I post up. Okay, I want you to share this video with your friends. Share it with your friends. And I want you to remember, I love you.